We'll do the roll call. Why don't we start with Luke on your side, introducing ourselves?
Luke Walters, MDOT, statewide planning.
Pankaj Rajadeo to the MACC.
Tyler Kent, MDOT, Grand Region.
Mandy Cooper, Lakeshore Advantage.
Jimmy Gerard, Township.
Jason Latham with the MACC.
Tom Bird, at large.
Nathan Box, Mayor of Holland.
Kevin Kleinster, Mayor of Zeal.
Terry Nienhuis, Holland Township.
John Finance, Allen County Road Commission. Jim Story, Allegheny County Board of Commissioners.
Tom Hunt, Zeeland Township.
Eric Dexter with Matt.
Alex Miller with the MACC.
Judy Fisher at the MACC, and we just met for both non-transportation and
There we go. All right.
Great. We will look for approval of the minutes.
Just a note on the minutes, being that there's two Nienhuises here, you probably should put an initial in front of, instead of, I don't mind being called Mr. Nienhuis, but there's two of us now.
very good.
Great.
Good catch.
Senior and junior work.
That's good. Guess what I'll be.
Okay, do we have approval of the minutes? Vote positively by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Minutes carried. And public comments, no one from the public here. Lisa, you're welcome. Good to have you here. And we'll start with Jason.
All right, and I'm going to jump right in on the transportation program. We're going to start off with the long-range transportation discussion with chapters 1 and 2.
It's about the good distance? Okay, good.
That's good.
Good to see everyone. Hope everyone's having a good summer. Feels like it's halfway over now, so into the stretch. If you have kids at home, it gets challenging to fill the day. I'm not looking for housing. Sorry, Alec. He still is. If you know of any housing around, he would be great to entertain that. So, real quick, we're in the process of updating our long-range transportation plan. We have met with over 35 groups. That would include companies, economic development organizations, members of the MACC, and then disadvantaged, advocacy groups. So, at the last TAC meeting, they did approve chapters 1 and 2. They were included in your email and in your packet. So we are looking for approval of those two chapters. It's not for design, it's just for content, okay? So we're gonna make it look nice and pretty after everything's been approved for text. So we would entertain a motion for that at this moment if no one has any changes.
I don't think we need to make an official
No?
motion.
Okay.
Yeah, we went back and forth on that to get approval each few chapters, but really we wanted to have that discussion item. So we sent it out, so everybody has it. That's what the first two chapters look like. And then obviously, once the full long-range transportation plan is put together, we're gonna ask for that approval. And that's, oh boy, is that January?
Towards the end of the year or
Yeah.
January, yeah.
Yeah, that's that time frame. But we wanna make sure that along the way that we keep you guys up to date on what we're putting together, and making sure we have your comments along the way. So at any time, give us your comments. We'll take them, but certainly the technical committee approved those chapters to move forward, and we're just kind of FYI for now.
The first two chapters are pretty basic. They're just laying out when the MACC was founded and what we do, and then some of our road networks at the moment. So they're pretty basic, but we are going to give them to you piecemeal so we don't bombard you at the end with 150 pages of reading material. So.
All right. Any comments on it? Did anybody take a look? Anybody has anything?
Nice job. That's all I have to say. I was really impressed. I mean, good updates. Good. Nice job from staff.
Good review of the history of the MACC.
Good. Thank you. Excellent.
Okay,
All right.
next item is the adjusted census urban boundary. This is an action item. So back in June, MDOT had a meeting at the MACC with as many local members as we could get in the room to redefine our census urban boundary based on urban area in 2020. So, kind of take you through it. So, the red boundary is what we propose, and And I might want to mention that this area in Zeeland Township was added after that meeting with MDOT, just anticipating a lot of growth in that area. And I think Tom had talked with MDOT. So we did include that. Brett Laughlin agreed with the road commission. So pretty much this is to delineate which roads are urban and which roads are rural, and then the border roads can go either way. So I believe your funding is greater, or you have a greater possibility if you're an urban road. Maybe Luke can speak a little bit to that.
So there's not really any changes in the funding, whether you make the area bigger. It just depends on where you can spend that funding. So the only thing that this will limit is where rural funding for the area can be spent. It can't be spent inside of that census urban boundary.
So you can see the green areas are where the urban areas were in 2020. And it's hard to make out on this map, but they showed the old ACUB boundary as well. But pretty much a lot of the growth has taken place north of Holland into Port Sheldon Township, some of Olive. It's gone east into Zeeland Township, and then a few places south of town. And we can go into that a little more. So pretty much this will bring us all the way up to Pigeon Lake, come down Holly Drive to Port Sheldon, go east to 31, south on 31 to New Holland, and then cut down, I guess that would be 120th Avenue to Quincy. I don't need to go through it all, but pretty much it would encapsulate most of Zeeland Township, the western part at least. That we'll see a lot of growth coming up. And then on the south, they did include this little mobile home park down off of Blue Star, east of Blue Star Highway. All the city of Holland. And then this really stayed the same in Lake Town. So, does anyone have any questions on the ACUB boundary? No questions.
It's clear as mud, right? No, I think Luke did a good job basically saying that if we have any projects that are programmed inside that red boundary, we can't spend rural money within those. And then you guys know how complicated our tip looks when we have every one of those columns. Like, we really need to know where those boundaries are. So this does smooth it out, make it a little bit easier to program our jobs, and then MDOT and the feds certainly will understand exactly what's inside and what's outside. So,
and I'll commend us all for working together very well. It was a very easy process. I think just about all the municipalities showed up and our members, and really MDOT just gave us a marker and said, draw it where you think is best, and we did together. So, and another thing this does is smooths out the boundary. So you're not jumping from urban to rural to urban. Quincy Street's a good example, north of Zeeland there. So with that, we are looking for a motion to approve the new ACUB boundary for 2020.
Support.
all right. So all in favor with the motion on the table, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
And then all opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, now we're going to move to MDOT Federal Highway comments.
And kind of kick it off first, and Luke, if you got anything you want to add, feel free. Kind of a light year for construction in the Holland area, but so a couple of updates just from the TSC and others I've talked to here. Byron Road, it's a little segment underneath 196 at the interchange there. Looks like it should be scheduled to be open in early August, pending weather conditions, but I guess it's going to be really hot this week, so maybe it will be open in August. At that interchange as well, the recent westbound, which is more southbound in my opinion, but the westbound on-ramp that was opened earlier this month, the eastbound on-ramps will remain closed through kind of early October. In addition, the big I-196 work, we're reconstructing that other bound between Zeeland and Hudsonville. That'll continue into the fall. That's what it was originally scheduled for anyway, but they are making good progress out there. As I drove over here, I noticed they had kind of paved half of eastbound for about half the product limit, so maybe a quarter of it's already paved to some extent already. And Jim, you might find this interesting, but M40, that closure will be through, approximately Labor Day, or, partial closures will be through there through Labor Day. M40, that's just north of Hamilton. We're doing a minor widening to put in the center left turn lane, kind of doing some intersection work at 136 to put in a traffic signal, and working with the Hamilton Public Schools and the County Road Commission there, kind of working on a whole bunch of suite of changes for that area as well. And then lastly, the other update I have is southbound US 31 over the McIntyre River there. It has that single lane closure that's been over there for a while. It looks like that's supposed to kind of be resolved by mid-August. Again, weather pending, everything, being in alignment. So a lot of construction updates here. I'll continue to provide those as I go along, but this time that all my updates. Unless Luke, do you have anything from a statewide level?
Yeah, I really don't have anything to go over at this time, but if there's any questions for me, feel free to reach out.
Thanks for the update on over the river.
Yep.
Because that's when I get more questions about the day, because nobody can figure out what's wrong and they don't see any of the work actually happening.
I know, it's tough when you don't see it.
It's nice to be able to say that's gonna get wrapped up, and it'll be like magic. The council just disappeared.
What happened? Yeah, what happened? I assure you there is work, it's just under the river.
Good. Any other questions for MDOT?
Just
Yeah.
appreciate, I'm sure John does too, the work on M40 and 48th Street. It's been a major safety issue, I think, over the years. And I think the road commission acquired some land early on to help with that. So again, shows cooperation between the two.
Absolutely.
Transportation.
And with the school as well, it's definitely a great example of kind of leveraging multiple people to do some good. What normally might just be a standard rehabilitation project without anything else on it. So no, we appreciate it.
So when you get to that intersection in Hamilton, you won't have to hurt your neck anymore looking.
It depends what street, but yeah, you might still have some kind of cranking on it, but at least you have a signal at one of them. So
That'll be nice.
yeah.
All right, very good. Well, good, then I'm going to go to the next item here, administrative issues. I'll start with the financial report. What actually got sent in the packet in the email was the May financials, because that's all we had, because Chris was on vacation, but he came back, and now we got the June update. So the June update is what you see in front of you now. And just the quick highlight to me, just to make sure you guys are aware of, is we're doing really good on our those first governmental funding. That's the major portion of our revenue. So on the consolidated planning grant, we're up to 86.9%. And really, it's my goal to make sure that we get that spent every year, because that's huge. That's the money that's coming in from the feds through MDOT. So we're definitely on track to get that spent this year. Clean Air's looking really good too. There'll be a little bit more to come on that with Green Commute Week coming up in September. So that'll get used as well. And then you can see the asset management, data collection, everything's coming in really good. On the data collection side, you can see that we're a little over on that. We did spend time doing a lot of data behind the scenes, making sure that we were ready for all that traffic count. And then our contract with DLZ was the 15,000 of that 17,000. But those numbers are looking good. It's all good information that we're able to get and track and then make part of what we're doing with the long-range plan, and certainly sharing that with MDOT as well. So financials are looking good. Next up is our executive committee report. So I got a bunch of things to run or just update you guys on. Our exec committee meeting minutes are in there, but I'm going to add a couple other things as well. First, I'm going to start with just a quick heads up that we're looking at. I think we had this discussion probably almost a year ago with doing kind of an office refresh. maybe a little painting, some new flooring in the MACC office. So we started getting some quotes and getting some information out. So you'll be hearing from us maybe in a month or two as far as the process goes. Certainly be working closely with the exec committee to make sure that they understand what we're looking at. But really it's the tile, that's pretty old tile, we're looking to replace that, and then paint maybe half the walls in the office just to coordinate those better. So big scheme of things, I don't think it'll be more than 20,000. I think that'd be the ceiling of what we're looking to spend on that refresh, and that should make a big difference. But more to come on that. The other thing that I wanted to give you a quick update, and I'm glad Elise is here, is the MOU that we have with MACC Transit. That was signed back in 2016, I believe. And Punkage, you probably remember signing that. So that MOU, it's a nice MOU that basically just kind of sets up our relationship to say that we can work seamlessly together, that there's certain things that we need to do for MACC Transit that MDOT would like to see that consolidated planning grant goes to, and then certainly that they can do stuff for us, and basically just have a really good relationship. So since there's been so many directors and a lot of turnover since then, we just wanted to just reconfirm that. So I don't think we need a motion to redo anything, because it's really the exact same agreement. We're just putting today's date on it. But I didn't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
No, I just think it's really funny because looking at it, Punkage signed it, and I was a witness at the time as a staff member at the MACC.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just want to let you all know that it has been a great working relationship with the MACC, and I'm so grateful for the commitment and the professionalism. So, and our team certainly has really enjoyed being part of the tech committee. So, yeah, and I have more to report later on funding and grant work.
Good.
But this is something that I just wanted to express my appreciation.
Well, thank you. Well, it's mutual. We're really excited to dive in and help you guys, and I'm sure you'll talk a little bit more about that when we come to it. But yes, that's good stuff. Next thing I wanted to let everybody know is the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant application. That $300,000 application went in 2 weeks ago. So we met the deadline. We got all the information needed for that. And we're really hoping to hear back some good news starting October, November timeframe. And really that's, if that planning grant comes through, then us at the technical level can really work close together on a comprehensive safety plan. And that comprehensive safety plan will look at road, bridge, trail type projects that can help us towards our goal of towards zero deaths on our roadways. So that's exciting. I'm feeling pretty good about it, but I shouldn't count my chickens before they hatch. But I was really happy to get that in. So thank you, Alec and Eric, for getting all that data together. That was one of those things that you hear about, all these grant opportunities that are out there, but until you have all the data, until you have your GIS information up to speed, and you have the team in place, I mean, you really can't go after it because you're just not ready. But I think this was our first big push to say, okay, we're ready. We have the information. We got the team together, and now we can start going after stuff. So that was a good milestone that we hit with that. The next was the I-196 Business Loop, the pedestrian crossing study. So that project that MDOT was doing, that project, I think, went out to bid last month, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I believe that is correct.
For construction next year. And the good news is, with our pedestrian crossing study and our public meeting that we had, the meetings that we had, not only with the public and MDOT, but with others, those comments were incorporated into that plan set. So there was well over $50,000 worth of intersection improvements that were added to that project, just based on our study and what we did, and how our outreach comments that came back were able to affect that project in a positive way. The second half of that is to really kind of figure out bridge, tunnel, location, how would we get pedestrians over the 196 or under 196, and where should that go? And that draft report should be to us by Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So once we get that draft report, we'll reconvene our study team, we'll go over that draft information, and finalize that report, and then the MACC team is going to take it to the public to say, here's what we heard, and here's our draft plan that we have on paper right now, that now we can start going after grant money to see how we can get that designed and constructed. So that's a nice partnership with MDOT that we're happy to be part of. Long-range plan, we've been doing a lot on the long-range plan. You just saw chapters 1 and 2. And Eric, you mentioned that we've met with well over 34 community groups, and including townships, including everybody here. And we're really getting good feedback. We're getting our finger on the pulse of what the issues are in our community, what the perceived issues are that may or may not see them actually in some of the data, but certainly some folks might say, well, I think that's a problem. So that's going to help us as we write additional chapters, and then as we work with each other in future meetings to make sure that we're helping from a land use standpoint, from a road standpoint, and certainly the business economic development side, how those intersect. So looking forward to continue working on that. Green Commute Week, that's going to be September 10th through the 16th. We got some good information out. We've updated our website. We got a nice little spreadsheet that's embedded in there so people can track their green commutes throughout that week. And we can calculate the travel time savings if there is any, but certainly calculate the greenhouse gas emissions, which is really what we want to track. So we can look at what that benefit is to the community there. So anything else you want to add, guys? I know we've been working a lot on that, and that spreadsheet looks good, and the website looks good.
I think we're offering $500 in prizes,
Yeah.
which is pretty reasonable. It's not extravagant, and that would be 10 prizes of $50 to, I think we're picking Meyer, because everyone goes to Meyer's, and then the 5 bike shops around Holland and Zeeland, so $50 each. We are getting yard signs to put up at some parks and nature places where people will actually use them and participate.
Yep, can use that
So
QR code, track what
Yeah.
they're doing, and it goes, anything that they put in goes right to our spreadsheet and calculates
Yeah.
the greenhouse gas emissions.
So pretty much any popular park or area that we see a lot of traffic, non-motorized traffic, is where we're going to have some signs.
Yeah, and I think we'll be able to build on that each year, so now we'll have a
Yeah.
baseline of where we are, and then next year, hopefully, get the word out even more, find new places to hopefully bring in more participants. But I think it's just, it's good to have this baseline. I think this is right where we need to be.
So in a nutshell, they scan the QR code or go to our website, they enter the amount of miles they either took the bus or biked or walked or carpooled, and then it gets automatically put into a spreadsheet, and then we're pretty much going to pick 10 random winners rather than the top prize, because people, I'm hoping they're going to be responsible and
Yep.
be truthful, but at the end of the day, maybe someone's putting in 20 miles a day and then they're not even doing anything. So it's really for participation sake.
Yep.
It's good.
Do we have any employers signed up that are promoting it? Just out of curiosity.
So-
Partners?
We haven't done the direct.
Not yet.
Yeah, so I think they have in the past, kind of gone to employers and tried to get them to compete, or, what we want to do is get our spreadsheet right where we want to do, and we thought, well, let's go to a lot of the trailheads and let's get signs, and let's see if we can get kind of the general public, and then next year, we were talking about schools and employers. But we thought, let's add that layer next year, and let's see if we can't do a more kind of trail-based outreach and see where that goes. But that's the logical place to go to, really. and there's still some time. We still have some time on how we're going to roll that out. But we want to get our spreadsheet together first before we got too many people excited about it and then weren't able to track it. So. All right, so let's see. That's a good discussion.
If you want more information, Alyssa used to be in charge of that.
I know. We got some experts in the room. Then the ACUB discussion, which you already did. And then the other discussion, and I did get more information, but I haven't been able to go through it too much, was ODC is looking at trying to get some support on the MS4 winter salting training for the area. So they're working with Grand Valley, the Grand Rapids NPO, to bring in a consultant. It's actually a consultant from Minnesota DOT area, kind of talking about best practices in winter salting. So this consultant could help with what we believe would be new MS4 requirements coming down the pipe. They're not there yet. So that's just a discussion we had at the exec committee, and they had some good questions about, is this just for DOTs, or is it for, what about, the Meyer parking lot, and, those kind of things, and how are they doing it? So ODC was looking for a $2,000 donation from the MACC. I don't think we're quite ready to say, yeah, we're in on that, but certainly we're going to drill down a little bit more, get a really good understanding of what that consultant is there for, and how we might want to work with them. So more to come on that as well. The next item would be the two handouts that you can see right in front. The Cultivating Resilience Farm Field Day. There's information there that ODC wanted us to share with you guys, as well as the green stormwater infrastructure, which I know some of the green stormwater that we got grants for last year that went into place really are doing a nice job. Because once that infrastructure gets put into place, every rain event, that's an opportunity to treat water and clean water before it enters the lake. So this is FYI information, and Kelly said that she has really good, nice cardstock flyers if anybody wants some to put it at their place of business or hand out. Just let me know and I can get it from her and get it to you. But other than that, I think the last thing I wanted to say is this week is the Michigan Transportation Planning Conference. So we'll be in Ann Arbor, some of us tomorrow night, some of us Wednesday, for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning conference. And it's just a great event because we get to see Federal Highway, Federal Transit, MDOT, and then certainly the MPO partners across the state, which I'm sure Traverse City will be there. And they're a new, a new MPO that's, are they official now? Like, are they up and running?
They're not designated yet.
Okay. Later this fall, probably?
Yeah.
I think was the date. So that's kind of nice. We're going to have a new MPO to the state. Only bad thing is that it doesn't add more money. It kind of takes a little bit of money away from everybody, but they've been wanting to be an MPO for a long time, and I think some of their transportation issues are very similar to ours, with a big tourist influx, and just kind of the lay of the land, some of the things that they're. So it'll be nice to have that Grand Traverse County and the city and those townships, in the MPO world, and that meetings like this every year we'll be able to talk about maybe some of their constraints, some of the things, the issues they're having, and then certainly we're here to help them if they have any issues. I think one of the things there, I just heard this morning that they're maybe talking about struggling on how they're going to do member dues and stuff like that. I don't know if you've heard that or not. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it, but who knows what their problems are. I'm hearing it all secondhand, but I think if anybody can talk about how MPOs work, how communities coordinate and work together to the benefit of their citizens, I think the MACC certainly is a shining star there, and would be an area that I'd offer any help that they need. I can talk about how good you guys are and how great it is to work together, because we get more done when we work together. than we do otherwise. So that's the last update I think I had. Did I miss anything, guys?
I don't believe so.
All right, good. Good. Any questions for us here at the MACC?
I just had a question for the other governmental units. We've been receiving at Holland Township, this season anyway, a very large amount of complaints regarding gypsy moths. And that season has passed us, in other words, but it's rather confined to a certain area. But those folks that have been affected by it really are complaining a lot about it, what to do about it, and they want, of course, the government entities to get involved. And I remember a number of years ago, and I don't remember exactly when it was, but we did hire and I think along with maybe Park Township at that time, a firm to spray for them. But just wonder if anybody else has been receiving complaints in their particular units at all. If not, we'll just continue and see what happens next year.
Where, you said it seems somewhat localized in?
Yeah, you know, it's off of Lakewood Boulevard, where I think it's Calvary Church is,
Yeah.
in that area.
Okay.
And they've been affected before in that area. And it's really pretty extreme for those folks. When you have a lot of that, it's just miserable. But anyway, thank you.
Okay. Well, it's good to know. I can get some feelers out there, see what I hear,
That'd
and
be great.
kind of get back.
Thank you.
Yeah, Terry, we've not heard anything in Holland since we did a gypsy moth relocation program to the north. So, which has apparently been very effective for us.
You cut them off at the bridge?
Yeah, we do.
Yes, it worked.
Done the same thing, we've sent them west.
Thanks for your help, guys.
Very good. All right, well, if we can do kind of a member update, that would be great.
Sure.
Can we start? Yeah, I'm looking at Mike.
My manager's out, I didn't know about the construction, but, yeah, actually, in the township, we just were awarded a high water infrastructure grant for dune grass planting on the face of the Cow Park dune, and also some fencing to kind of help curb some of the pedestrian crushing down the dune. So I'm in the middle of implementing that now, so.
Good.
Yeah, we're working on a master plan, I think I mentioned that
Yep.
last time, but.
All right. I'm not, you already went.
Nothing exciting for me.
The team is super busy as always. One of the focus areas for our business solutions team is site readiness, always looking at industrial site availability, which is typically pretty low these days. And so we do a lot of work in that space. One of the projects we're working on and ramping up for is we're doing a developer day on August 3, where we're taking our construction industry partners, any other interested stakeholders around to 5 or 6 sites, development ready sites or sites that have been identified as potential for industrial development. As well as just some updates on things like what's happening here at Gentex, visiting the J.H. Campbell site out in Port Sheldon. Also get a sneak peek at what Gun Lake Tribe is doing. They have around 2,000 acres that they have planned for development. And then down into City of Allegan. So super excited about that. As always, since we have so many of our local unit partners here, if you have sites that we should be paying attention to that we aren't actively talking about, let us know, our team at Lakeshore Advantage. So we're always on the lookout for sites that could be brought online.
So a big thing this week in Park Township is the Ottawa County Fair. So plenty to do there, so check it out, and it starts tomorrow.
I know my family has the monster truck event on the calendar, which you can hear from our house. I have a few things I wanted to share with all of you. And I guess primarily, I know I've shared with this policy board before that we have faced a challenge, which is 2024, when we have 10 vehicles that are eligible for replacement. And I think that's probably when I took on this role, I knew that to be one of my biggest challenges. So in anticipation of that, and just a side note, we typically have enough funding for 2 So to have 10 in 1 year is a big deal. So we've been very aggressive in pursuing grants. And thankfully, we've been receiving a lot of them. So I've shared with you before the electric buses. That was a Low-No grant. We received funding for our new scheduling software, which is going to really improve efficiency and help us to work better with our neighbors, our transit neighbors in this region. But what I wanted to share with you today is that we have a route study that we're going to be bringing to our board this afternoon. And so that is $500,000 that we have been awarded to do a thorough study of the region, looking at all of our transit services, where fixed routes are going, how often, looking at paratransit opportunities to be more efficient, and last of all is the possibility of a microtransit. We've already purchased passenger vans hoping to launch this, but we are gearing up for that. So we're really excited because this is really going to be an opportunity to rethink transit. And I share this with all of you because stakeholder involvement is going to be a very large part. So the consultant we're recommending will have 3 separate public meetings, and we'll ask all of you to participate. Those of you who have benefited from transit and those who may be thinking about transit in the future. And then getting back to the memorandum of understanding that Jason shared earlier, we have such a good working relationship with MACC staff. And as you all know, the MACC completed a transit access and connectivity study for MACC's transit, which basically showed the gap areas. It also pointed out to us that we have so many elderly residents that are outside of our service area, that as our area in our region continues to age, they're going to need transportation. So there's so much that we didn't know until the MACC did that work for us. So part of this grant that we're going to, that we've received will be for funding to the MACC to do a GIS analysis. And we are so grateful because MACC's transit staff we really don't have the software, we don't have the capability, but the MACC does. And so it's another example of what a great partnership we have, and we're super excited. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew that that's coming. And it's a 12-month study, so we anticipate that completing in June of 2024. So get ready, you'll be invited. So
Good, well, thank you very much. That's exciting for us too. We're really looking forward to jumping in on that. And I think some of the conversations that we've had with you guys have really opened up our eyes to some of these are gaps here. We can't really wait to dive into the data, and then meeting with the folks that we did meet with on our long-range plan discussions. We're even finding out more of what's needed. So this is a really good opportunity to jump in, and we're going to hopefully get travel trained by your staff soon, so then we can go out and do some training and have informational meetings to spread the word, so that's good too.
And that's the first time ever that I know of that MACC staff have done that, so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Looking forward to it. All right.
Jason, or Nathan?
Not a lot going in Holland at this time. We just did a refresh of our master plan. Those who may know, we're building an ice skating park in downtown. We met and have exceeded our fundraising goal with that. We're in the final stages of getting the final construction details out there so that we can get bids back on that. And one of the things we're finding out is it's really expensive to build an ice skating park the right way. We were told that you can have no more than a ½ inch deviation in the surface level of the rink from one end to the other. And we've got about a 500-foot loop that's going to be going out into the park. So we're making sure that we get the geotechnical correct on that so that we build the best thing that we can. And right along that same line, if you've been along 6th Street and tried to navigate the construction that's going on there, the BPW peaking station is now gone. And there is nothing but a vacant lot there, hopefully in anticipation of the ice skating rink going in that spot. We're extending snowmelt along 6th Street from Freedom Village to College Avenue. And we're doing all of the sidewalks along 6th Street and then doing the connectors in over to 8th Street. So for Lakeshore Advantage and their new building, they'll have snow melt running right straight through.
Thank you for that.
From downtown past them to the ice skating park. So we're trying to make that as convenient as possible for Mandy to be able to put on her skates at lunch.
So skating
and go in and
meetings,
take care of
forget
it.
Zoom.
Kind of ironic.
What's that?
It's kind of ironic that you have a snow melt going to the ice park.
Yeah, we do, yeah. And, well,
Not
and actually,
into.
and the snow melt system is actually, or excuse me, the ice skating rink is actually going to add to the efficiency of the snow melt system, because if you know anything about cooling things, you know that there's excess heat. We're going to be pumping that excess heat from the cooling of the ice into the snow melt system to make it just that much more efficient. So we're trying to think of everything we possibly can. Materials continue to arrive for the fiber broadband system. And then if you've been driving along Pine Avenue, you know that the JDY power plant has been slowly but surely disappearing a little bit more every day. Expect that there will be a large boom in all of our futures at some point over the next few weeks when we implode the rest of the plant. There is not a publicly advertised set date for the implosion. We had hoped to sell tickets and put up bleachers and have everybody come and watch, and we were told in no uncertain terms by the demolition team that we will not be doing that for various safety issues. There are lots of rumors out there. We had a rumor 2 weeks ago. Everybody was mad on social media that they thought 2 weeks ago today that the plant was coming down, and it didn't. And all of us kind of looked at each other and said, we have no idea where you got that idea, because we're close. So expect on some probably calm, sunny morning in the near future that you'll hear a big loud boom coming from. We'll let people know just far enough in advance that they're not on Pine Avenue when it happens. So that's the few things that we've got going on right now in City Hall.
I thought when you said you didn't have much going on, that would be it, but no. Well, I guess I can do my welcome to Zeeland thing now, but welcome to Zeeland. I think, I was saying before to Nathan that Holland Township has a conspiracy against us to keep people out of Zeeland. I think Zeeland Township does too, to the east of us. And even them dots it on the game. They don't want people to come into Zeeland.
Yeah.
The bridge is closed south of us. The only way you can go is north. So. But anyway, we do have some construction in Zeeland too. We started our snow melt project on Main Street this summer. They're well underway on the block where the middle school is. That should be completed hopefully before school, then they'll start on the next block in front of Don's Flowers. And then that will be it. Then next year we'll complete it for the next 2 blocks to State Street. If you're on the same block as the snow melt's going in, we have the Slide Building, which GDK is putting in 48 apartments in the Slide Furniture Building. That should be completed by winter time. Our downtown, we soon have 2 new buildings, 3-story buildings that will be done by area construction firms. One right in the middle of our downtown, where 2 stores, old stores will be torn down and be put into place. The other one's on the corner of Main and State Street. So our Main Street will be looking a lot different in the near future and a little taller. So, as far as things to do in Zeeland, we've got Monday nights. We have Zealmania going for the month of July, the first week of August. Bring your grandkids down. I think they're doing Christmas in July today, so the kids can see Santa Claus on Main Street. And then on Tuesday nights, we have Sounds of Summer in our Zeeland Lawrence Street Park in the Bowl, which is some good bands playing. So every Tuesday night between 6:30 and 8 o'clock. So anyway, lots of things going on. Appreciate you coming down.
Thanks.
Well, Holland Township is very busy this time of year, as always. We approved last Thursday a number of additional housing units and much more on the table coming our way. So that keeps our planners and inspectors very busy. Of course, we're developing a rec center, which has been a long process, but we're getting there now with the old Yonkers space. and we're repurposing that, and I think the end product, which will be around March of 2025, will be great. But other than the gypsy moth thing, that's all I have to say today.
Well, first of all, I hope everybody's enjoying a beautiful summer. Construction season for the county is going very well. Paving is going well. I guess Kent and Tyler and have stole the thunder of 48th and M40. That project is going well, proceeding right along. Hopefully, everything will get completed by Labor Day.
Is that it? Sorry to steal your thunder. Sorry to steal your thunder. I apologize for Kent. Two things that involve the county right now is we have, and Jason has helped us with this, we've long had a washout on our Lakeshore Drive in South Saugatuck Township, which has isolated emergency services from that section because most of the emergency services headquarters are located north of it. And so it's about 2.5 times the response time because of it. So we have invited and did a tour with Jason with Congressman Heisinger's office to hopefully help us find some federal infrastructure money so that the reroute that John's operation designed a decade ago can be implemented, and so that we can, again, tie the two halves of Saugatuck Township together, particularly along the lake shore. Water levels are down, but anyone who's lived along the Great Lakes knows that's short term. They will back up. It's pretty predictable. So hopefully we'll find the money to do that and fix what could be a serious situation. Knock on wood, so far it hasn't been. The other issue that we worked with the legislative delegation from our county, all 9 of them on, was to find funding for the restart of the Palisades plant. Although that's in Van Buren County, it's very close to the Allegan County line, and more importantly, provided about 100 jobs when it was up and running to Allegan County residents. And the legislature did appropriate $150 million as kind of an enticement carrot for the federal government to approve a loan application by the new owners of Palisades, Holtec International, to rehabilitate the plant and get it back up and running because of projections of growing electric deficits, generating deficits. That's it.
Zeeland Township is really looking forward to Byron Road being open again. It appears most of the pavement is down now.
Yes.
So it should happen soon, and we'd be grateful for when it does. Just one other thing, one of the larger developments that will be coming to the board for site plan approval, or the final PUD adjustment approval, is Prairie Winds Phase 2, which is right across Byron Road from the Township Hall. It's about 325 site or houses, townhouses, condos, and whatever. So that will be going in the next few years. So that's one of the larger things, and just all the normal stuff. So.
All right, thanks, Tom. All right, with that, does anybody have any other comments? Any other issues? Well, then I guess I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so next meeting, August 28th, Fillmore Township.
3 days.
Oh, that's. All right, thanks, everybody.